Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Mama Genius Festival / podcast. Today we are on podcast number 3. I am so excited. And we got another Jennifer. We just did one Jennifer. We're going to have another one for us. But she's going to be talking about, again, the importance of sleep because it really is so vital. We also had Catalina talking about it. But what I love is even having the same topic, how we get different perspectives on all of it. So make sure you stay tuned to see what Jennifer's take and everything is on what is the importance of sleep and how to really integrate that into where we are. Let's go into our intro. Welcome to Mama Genius Hub podcast, where we support moms with big dreams from entrepreneurship to personal aspirations. I'm your host, Michelle Kaiser, and I'm here to help you unlock your potential in all areas of life. Join us as we explore strategies for thriving in motherhood while pursuing the dreams, the key to actually unlocking your genius. Subscribe now and embark on a journey to realize your fullest potential. Hi, everyone. We are back, and I am so excited to bring Jennifer on. Jennifer is the founder of Jennifer Eve Wellness, with a passion for guiding entrepreneurs and busy executives to their best selves. She specializes in transforming sleep from a mere afterthought to the cornerstone of peak performance and wellness. I can't wait to hear what she has to say. As sleep and wellness coach, Jen has seen firsthand the power of restorative sleep in unlocking one's full potential, because that's what we're all about, unlocking that genius, right? Her mission is to help driven individuals harness that power through personalized sleep strategies that seam seamlessly. Welcome, Jennifer. We're so excited to have you today.
Hi, Michelle. Thanks for having me.
It's so, I love the idea of sleep, and I know I need more of it. And I love that. So I just want to, first of all, welcome to the festival. And I want to know, how is it going for you?
Great. Yeah, things are going well. I've been enjoying this festival, and I want to thank you for putting on such a great event and for bringing together some amazing women and speakers and really allowing moms and women to have this time to invest in themselves, which is so important.
It really is. And getting all these messages out there. And I'm just can't wait to dive into yours. So I just want to know, what is your why behind all the sleep?
Yes. So 17 years ago, I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease, Sjogren's syndrome, which for those who, if you don't know what it is, which I'm imagining many of you don't, the hallmark symptoms are dry eyes and dry mouth. So at the time, I had no idea what the heck was going on. My whole head felt like it was going to shrivel up. It felt so dry. My eyes felt like somebody was rubbing them with sandpaper. I had to drink after just about every bite of food, or the food would get stuck at the top of my throat. So when I received the diagnosis, on the one hand, it was a big relief to know, okay, what I was facing, what was going on. On the other hand, they told me this is incurable. It may progress. And by the way, here are some medications that you're going to have to take for the rest of your life.
More medications, yeah.
Yeah, more medications. I had 2 toddlers at home, was working full time. So with 2 toddlers and full-time job, I'm already tired, but then I'm also experiencing this exhaustion. And I just didn't have time to really even question it. I just kind of, okay, this is what's going on. Medications, I don't have to make big disruptions. I'm just going to take them and keep moving. And I adapted, I managed, but I definitely wasn't thriving. Fast forward to January 2020, and I started studying to become a health coach. And I realized, okay, there's actually something that I can do about this. So I was studying.
In the midst of COVID, you decided to do that. But no, this was before COVID.
Right just before.
Oh my gosh, I had my years wrong. That was right before.
It was right before everything imploded. And so I didn't even know there was such thing as health coaching. But I thought it was so amazing to be able, not only for my own health journey, but then to be able to help others. And actually, a few months after that, I had a silly kitchen mishap. I cut my finger. Turned out to be not so silly. It required 2 separate courses of antibiotics. which then started to give me all these uncomfortable symptoms. I had body rashes and irritation. And I knew that the traditional medical system wasn't going to be able to help me. I didn't want more antibiotics. I didn't want steroids, topical things. I was going to have to figure it out on my own. And I did have a hunch of what was going on. I did a little bit of research and made some pretty drastic changes in terms of diet and lifestyle. And within 1 week, the symptoms started to disappear. Rashes gone. Yeah, it was crazy. Within 2 weeks, I had even consistent energy throughout the day. I was feeling great. But when I looked around at other folks who were making similar changes, but not getting similar results, I realized that the piece of the puzzle that they were missing that I already had in place was sleep.
Mm.
Because you truly can be the cleanest eater out there. You could be working out 7 days a week. You can be doing the latest wellness trends, cold plunge, sauna, whatever it may be. If you are not getting proper sleep, you cannot thrive in health. So I am on a mission to put people to sleep.
I love that. A mission to put people to sleep. That just sounds so like relaxing just in the thought of it. Well, let's just dive straight into it then. What are some of the tips? How do we work? I know people just keep using the word I'm too busy or I'm too this. How do you counteract some
Yeah.
of that to get the tips out there for sleep?
And that's the tough part because we're in such a hustle culture. Go, go, go. They've not enough hours in the day. I'll sleep when I'm dead, right? It's the first thing and it's the easiest thing for people to sacrifice is sleep. So I'm trying to flip the narrative and make people understand that in fact, sleep is an investment, not just in your health, but also in your business or your job, your relationships, everything. It's so foundational and fundamental. And by the way, it's a free investment.
I love that.
So, what I like to help people understand is both the implications to our health as well as the potential to help us in, say, our business or our earning potential. So, on the health side, the 3 examples I tend to share with folks are as follows, because usually everyone can relate to at least one of these 3. So, the first is if your health goal is not to lose weight, chances are 10 or more people who have that as a health goal. Unfortunately, if we're not getting sleep, our body will not release fat. And it's also compounded by the fact that the hormones that help to regulate our eating and our appetite get all screwed up. So ghrelin, which is the hormone that makes us feel hungry, that shoots up. So we feel more hungry more often. Whereas leptin, the hormone that gives us that feeling of fullness, that takes a dive. So we don't feel that way. So we end up eating a ton more foods, and they tend to be sugary, starchy kind of foods. So your body is not releasing fat. You're eating more sugary, starchy calories during the day. So it's not a winning combination.
Nope, that sounds kind of like a losing combination right
Yes.
there.
Yes. The next example, this one hits home for me, and I'm sure a lot of folks in the audience, their families have been impacted by Alzheimer's or dementia. So similar to the lymphatic system in the body, whose primary responsibility is to flush out toxins that build up in the body, the glymphatic system in the brain also flushes out toxins that build up in the day. And one of those is beta amyloid, which is associated with Alzheimer's dementia. Here's the thing, the glymphatic system only works during sleep. So if you're not getting the proper amount of sleep, it's not able to do its job and flush out those toxins. They end up building up like that beta amyloid. And then the final example, now I know this is an audience of women, but they shared this with the important men in their lives. Men who average fewer than 7 hours sleep a night have significantly smaller testicles than men who average 7 or more, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Testosterone is a key hormone for focus, motivation, also reproductive health.
Well, I wonder if does that mean that women who get less sleep have just less testosterone in their body then? I mean, because it's for focus and stuff.
So that can be an impact, but similarly, our reproductive health takes a hit also from sleeping less than 7 hours a night. And that is the recommended number of hours a night, or between 7 and 9. And I'll just throw this tip out there to begin with. You really have to back into that number as well. So if you are lying in bed for 7 hours, chances are you're not getting 7 hours of sleep. That would be a 100% sleep efficiency, which I would think is quite rare. So in all likelihood, you need to be in bed at least 7.5, if not 8 hours, to get the 7 hours of sleep. So that's one thing to keep in mind.
Yeah, the whole time takes you to fall asleep.
Falling asleep, so many people wake up during the night and it's tough getting back to sleep. Yeah. But there are foundational pieces that we can put into place and practice to help us get better sleep. And they fall into 3 primary buckets. And that's our sleep environment, the actual physical space in which we sleep, our sleep routine, so what we're doing throughout the day, and in particular, those few hours in the evening to prime our bodies for restful sleep, and our sleep story. So what's going on up here that is getting in the way.
And we'll dive right back into that after
Okay.
this. As soon as I lost my mouse. This is fun. Attention mompreneurs. Do you feel like you're constantly juggling the responsibilities without a moment to yourself? It's time to pause and reflect with our Mama Genius quiz. Tailored for busy mamas like you, this quiz will help you identify what's blocking your path and inspire you to harness your unique strengths. Transform how you manage life and business, find your rhythm, and ignite your joy. Visit mamageniushub.com today to discover your Mama Genius. And that's mamageniushub.com. And so we're going to dive right. So if you want to take that quiz, make sure you click on that. But we're going to dive right into the foundations of that. So we have environment, routine, and sleep story. So I'd love to hear more about those 3.
Yes. So I think that sleep environment is probably the easiest to tackle because it's just making some changes to the space that you sleep in. And once you make those changes, you should be all set. So for instance, ideally, the space that we sleep in is pitch black. As we know, melatonin, hormone of darkness, and even the smallest bit of light can disrupt our melatonin production. So they've actually done some research in which they've had folks sleeping in a pitch black environment, and then they've shown a tiny little light on their big toe and measured their melatonin production, and it disrupted it.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's crazy.
So does a sleep mask help with that, or you need the lights out of the room?
So a sleep mask can help, but we have light sensors in our skin. So so ideally, getting rid of all those sneaky light sources. So whether that is light sneaking in from outside or little gadgets like a cable box, if you have a digital clock next to your bed, turn it away from you. If you have some type of gadget or something that you can't remove from the bed, for instance, throughout the winter, we'll have a humidifier in our room. And so just position it in such a way that the light's not facing us, or you can even just stick a piece of tape over it. So, as much as possible, get rid of those light sources. The caveat being, if you do need to get out of bed for some reason, use the restroom, I don't want you getting hurt. So, you could have a night light that just makes sure it's red or amber tinted. And then when you do go into the hallway, bathroom, whatever, don't start turning on all the lights. Try to keep the lights off there as well. You also want to have the space cool. So, temperature is another signal in addition to light and darkness, a signal for our body that it's time to sleep and rest. And our core body temperature naturally dips in the evening. And that you might have heard before that taking a hot shower or bath prior to bed helps because it helps to lower our core body temperature.
Okay.
So we also want the ambient room temperature to be on the lower end, somewhere between 64 and 68 degrees. You can even go lower, personal preference, but you really don't want to go higher than 68 degrees.
My husband's gonna love you.
Sorry?
My husband's gonna love you.
Yes, throw open those windows in the winter. And keep your space quiet or maybe white noise. We will typically run a fan because we like to have some type of noise. And make sure that your bedding is comfortable and inviting. When we look at our sleep routine, a lot of folks, when I ask them if they have a sleep routine and what time does that start, they'll say any time between 8:30 to 10:30 at night. But what would you say if I told you that your sleep routine actually starts first thing in the morning when you wake up?
Mm.
What we do when we wake up in the morning can absolutely impact how we sleep that following night. And there's a saying that I love: how well we rise is how well we rest. So the first thing is, do not stick your phone in your face when you first get up. I know a lot of people have it right there next to the bed. Try to resist the temptation of the phone for a while. And ideally, we want to actually get up and get outside into natural light. And what that does is it signals to our body that it's time to start creating cortisol, and it helps us to have a natural rise in our cortisol levels, as opposed to if you do stick your phone in your face, that's going to spike your cortisol, and we don't want that. Cortisol can get a bad rap. We don't want consistently elevated levels. That's stress, consistent stress. But it's that hormone that gives us that awake and alert feeling. And there are instances where we definitely want spikes of cortisol, but we want to be able to bring it right back down. And it's also key, in addition to melatonin, in regulating our sleep wake cycles. So a nice gradual rise, ideally, if you can get outside within 60 to 90 minutes of sunrise. That's tough this time of year. I know where I am, sunrise is 5:10. So I'll be honest, I'm not getting outside within 60 to 90 minutes of sunrise right now, this time of year. I am getting outside when I wake up, but so it does adjust throughout the year depending upon when the sun rises. But and then if in addition to that, if you can get back outside into the natural light around sunset, that helps to signal to the body, okay, in a few hours, we're getting ready to rest and go to sleep and to start producing melatonin. And even better, if you can get outside into the sunlight multiple times during the day. That can
Love that. I need to do
help
more
our
of that.
circadian rhythm.
You're
Yeah.
inspiring me so much, Jennifer. I like taking notes furiously. That
Great. The other tip I like to share for sleep routine is what's called sleep regularity. And that is maintaining a consistent bedtime and wake time every day, even on the weekends. If you shoot for 80% of the time or more, particularly if you struggle with sleep, that is going to be one of the fastest ways to right the ship. And recent research has suggested that sleep regularity might even be a little bit more important than sleep duration or the number of hours we sleep a night. Both are critical. but sleep regularity might just edge out sleep duration in terms of its impact on our long-term health.
Hmm.
So if you get that morning sunlight or natural daylight and are able to maintain a consistent bedtime and wake time within 2 to 3 weeks, you should feel a positive shift in your sleep. Absolutely.
You're inspiring me to actually put my clothes downstairs so that I can actually get outside when I get up instead of like just because I actually been more consistent with my getting up, like waking up automatically without an alarm lately. Because
Mhm.
I think you're right with, but my bedtime hasn't as been as consistent. But I've been trying around the 9ish area.
Yeah.
But waking up has been more automatic these days, and so I see that and I feel that difference when it is. But now I used to take my morning walks, and I haven't been doing it lately. You are inspiring me to get back outside.
Good. Yay. And the third thing that I talk to folks about is our sleep story. So we all have stories about pretty much every aspect of our lives, you know, just a little bit, right? About our self-worth or our confidence, relationships, our ability to earn money, what you name it. We've got stories and we even have them about our health, but I don't think people recognize that we necessarily have stories around our health. Um, and and also our sleep. So if you've ever said or heard somebody say, I'm a terrible sleeper, I always have been, that's just the way it is. Or I'm consistently wake up 3 or 4 times a night, or my body will not sleep more than 6 hours a night. Physiologically, our cells respond to our thoughts as though they're reality. So if you keep replaying those stories in your head, that's your reality.
Mhm.
But the good news is stories can be rewritten. And so, one trick to doing that in terms of sleep is in those moments as you're lying in bed right before you drift off to sleep, to repeat either in your head or out loud positive I am statements. I am safe and comfortable in my bed. I am a fantastic sleeper and consistently sleep 8 hours a night. Um, I am sleeping through the night without interruption consistently. Something like that. Is in those moments, your subconscious is kind of vulnerable to rewiring. And so if you repeat those statements, then your subconscious will start to believe that. So,
I love that too because it is true. It is the same statement is whatever we say we can and we can't in the same statement is what we choose to do with it. And the more but I think what you're pointing out is we don't necessarily know consciously that we're even doing it. So I love that you're having like pulling that stuff out and saying, let's identify this and then let's change that
mhm,
story to it because that's, I think, first step is just awareness that
right.
I didn't realize I was doing that. But like you pointing that out right now, like, oh yeah, I might have said that about how I sleep or I don't sleep or I have insomnia or whatever it is, making those statements makes them true.
Mhm, absolutely. And I like to say, fix, don't fixate.
I love that.
So if you wake up in the middle of the night and have a hard time falling back to sleep, once again, you can try the same type of statements, or you can, if it's taking you longer than 20 minutes or so to fall back asleep, ideally you want to actually get out of bed. Our brains are super associative, and we want our brains to associate bed with sleep and sex. We don't want it to associate with lying in bed,
Mhm.
stressing out about what you have to do the next day or what happened the previous day or the fact that you can't sleep. So, if that's the case for you, get out of bed, find a calming, relaxing activity, reading, listening to music, knitting, whatever it may be. Once you start to feel sleepy again, then try getting back into bed.
I love that so much. And on that note, we're going to go into explain what our Tanzania project is here. And we'll be right back with Jennifer answering our 5 questions at the end of the podcast.
Have you ever been afraid to raise your hand in class or apply for the school play? I know I have, but not since I've joined the Speak Feed Lead. project. The Speak Beat Lead project is now going to Tanzania to help the youth there get their voice heard. We need your help to give a donation. Any donation counts. If it's $5 or $100, any donation will help us be able to inspire the youth and change their lives and give them the power they need to speak from their hearts and give them their voice.
As we ask for a donation for this project, we also want to pass that voice and message along to you, as well as bringing more connection to your family. And so we want to provide a guide for you to bring meaningful connections between you and your kids, what we call a morning circle. And it inspires you to go through and really conversate with your kids in a 5 to 10 minute fashion that really starts to bring deep conversations. We provide the directions for how to do it, along with the cards you can print yourself and create the deep questions such as, what does it mean to be yourself? And you'll be surprised as you go around doing this process, how it starts to just naturally start to open up more and more conversations, even throughout the day. So we want to bring the voice to everyone. All we request is for a donation to our Tanzania project, and we will send you the details to how to make your own circles and get your own cards as well. So please click the link below and make the donation that you feel comfortable with, and we will send these materials to you. Well, we are back, and so I hope those of you would like to have those cards and stuff, we'll donate to the Tanzania project. And with Jennifer, though, we're going to dive into our 5 questions. So, number 1, what podcast or resource has helped you manage your busy life as a mom and business owner?
So here's where I have to be honest. I'm not a huge podcast listener.
And that's okay.
I'm not in the car often, and when I'm home, I just find I can't. If I'm working, I can't also listen to a podcast. But the ones that I've been listening to lately either have to do with sleep, or I'm kind of diving down a rabbit hole of chronobiology and the importance of sun and sunlight. So I've been spending some time on those as well. Which
in the sunlight right now.
Yes.
I love that. And I think, and it doesn't, I think it's more about like finding what we like to do. And so, yeah, sometimes honestly, I say I don't necessarily like listen to the podcast all the time, but I do like having them ready for like when I'm cleaning or something. But like, I also feel like I'm in a podcast all the time. So we'll go with that. But I think it's choosing your own adventure. And I was just curious, I brought this question up for season 2, like, let's get some more variety out there. But number 2 for you, what is a fun activity you and your family do that keeps you having joy in your household?
We are a huge sports family. So big into lacrosse. Both my husband and I played in college. Our kids play. My son now plays in college. My daughter's playing in high school. And we watch every sporting activity on TV. So we follow all the sports teams. It's probably a lot of our togetherness revolves around sports.
Well, that's awesome. And I love hearing the variety of how people interact, and like that there is no one right way, but just to hear the variety and the different ideas that you and your family can do. I love that so much. Number 3 is, it's kind of taking us, probably is perfect for you with the busy day description, how I word it. Like a lot of times when we talk to people, we always ask, how are you doing? And the answers are, I'm fine, or I'm busy, blah, blah, blah. And so I want to just put out to the speakers here of how do we change that, either by rewording the question or by rewording how we answer. And you can take it however you like, but I just want to get the word busy out of our schedules, and I'm working on it.
Yeah, that is hard. And oh my gosh, where is it? I have a book actually that I am reading, 4,000 Weeks, Time Management for Mortals.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I just like it from the title right there.
It's really good, but it kind of talks about this whole thing of being busy, and you have a to-do list that's a mile long, and really you have to change your thinking about, okay, what can I realistically get done, and the expectations on yourself, and then being okay with, I'm going to get these 2 or 3 things done, and I'm going to celebrate that.
I love
So, yeah.
I love it. And I think it really just comes down to our intention and how we do it. And so I just love hearing different perspectives on that, which leads us into number 4 and our definition of what of success means to you and how do you celebrate it? Because as I've been on this entrepreneur journey and motherhood, just realizing success actually can look so many different ways, but we sometimes say it has to be one certain way.
So one primary way is setting an example for my kids of what's possible. This is definitely my second chapter. So I've always worked for other people, and I've enjoyed what I've done. So I've only been an entrepreneur or solopreneur for, gosh, I guess a little over a year. So taking that leap once I made that decision and then following through has probably been the biggest success. And then doing that in front of my kids.
I love that so much. I just love hearing these other definitions because sometimes it's so like monetarily based on like what success has to be. And I love just hearing how we can redefine what that means for us. And I love that so much. Which leads us into number 5, I think, which fits perfectly for what you're saying is how do we inspire our kids to figure out their own genius?
Yes. Yes. And that's our town happens to have our high school is a fairly high pressure school on a lot of the kids. And my kids, I've found amazingly, and I don't feel as though it was necessarily my husband and I doing this, but they have been so good about being very self-aware about what they can handle, what they want to do, how far they want to push themselves, not getting caught up in comparing themselves to their classmates and their peers, and just, I guess, allowing them to explore different possibilities. Um, our son wants to coach someday. And so just helping to guide him on, okay, well, how can you get to that point? What can you do right now to do that? Our daughter, who is graduating from high school in a week, has she's changed her mind multiple times this year of what she wants to go into, and she should. She's 18 years old. She shouldn't know what she wants to do for the rest of her life. So every time something new comes up, that's fantastic. Just encouraging and celebrating their exploration.
I love how you said chapter 2 though, because it's like we were such in this mindset, like you got to go to university, find the one job and stay with it for life. And we need to debunk that because I feel like I'm in chapter 2 as well. And we don't have to stay for the same thing forever. But what we learned is kind of evolution to where we're supposed to be anyways. And I love that so much. And so, Jennifer, give us your final takeaway for everyone and how they can get a hold of you.
So my final takeaway is please don't sacrifice sleep. Please focus on it as I mentioned, as an investment, because it really will pay off in every other part of your life. And I can be found at jenniferevewellness.com. And I also have a free gift. I'll put the link in the post there and on the Facebook group, which can help folks pinpoint which areas of their sleep hygiene they can focus on right away to make the quickest impact in their sleep.
Oh, I love that so much. I just want to thank you so much for coming on today. It's such a pleasure to have you. And you gave me, my whole page is completely full of notes that I'm going to have to read in just a moment to remind everyone what they were, but I am going to be cementing those into my mind as well.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Michelle.
All right. Well, I'm going to put her backstage while I go through my notes for you all. So I'm going to recap all my notes so that we can go through. So number 1, takeaway is sleep is a free investment in your health, for your jobs, for your relationships, for everything, all parts of your life. But let's go dive into number 2, which is specifically we're talking about our health. And so we talk about the weight loss. A lot of people want to lose weight, but Jennifer reminds us that if you're not sleeping, you're not producing what's going to help that release that fat from as well. I don't remember all the technical terms, but we'll stick with that for right now. And then we have the brain activity as well with our health, is that if we're not sleeping enough, then we're not getting what clears out the mind, which can also lead to Alzheimer's and things like that. And the third with the health is also the reproductive. So those of you who are out there wanting more kids, things like that, to keep that in mind as you're doing that. So then number 3 takes us into, she is recommending 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night. So that is the recommendation. But keep in mind, that's actual sleep, not your getting into bed time. So give yourself a little bit of extra time to make sure you get that full 7 hours. But I love, actually, I'm going to skip to circle back to one of the things she said is, so if you are having trouble sleeping, to get out of bed, because you just want to associate bed with sleep and sex, as she puts it, but to go do a calming activity and then try again later. But again, trying to keep that actual sleep time between 7 to 9 hours. So then you come into our foundational, and which the foundational things that she gave us for step number 4 is your environment, your routine to prime, and how you're actually, your actual sleep story. So we can switch with the environment, getting into the pitch black, all those things that she recommended, making sure that you are getting your routine to prime. So go back and listen to that if you need to read it. And then your sleep story, which gets me to number 5, is those actual positive statements. Going, I am safe and comfortable in my bed. I am sleeping through the night, rather than the story we've been telling ourselves, or even just identifying that story we might have been telling ourselves. And so I just want to thank Jennifer so much for coming on today, and we'll see you in the festival, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Before we wrap up, here are some key takeaways to remember from today's podcast with Jennifer Patenaude. Number 1, proper sleep is crucial for overall health, impacting weight management, brain function, and reproductive health. Aim for 7-9 hours of quality sleep each night. Number 2, ensure your bedroom is pitch black, cool 64-68 degrees, quiet, and has comfortable bedding to enhance sleep quality. Removing light sources is ideal for promoting melatonin production. Number 3, a regular sleep schedule, even on weekends, is essential for sleep regularity. Morning exposure to natural light helps regulate sleep-wake cycles, and avoiding phone use upon waking can improve alertness. Number 4, changing negative sleep beliefs and using positive I am statements before sleep can significantly improve sleep quality. Avoid associating the bed with stress by engaging in calming activities if you can't fall back asleep. Number 5, allowing children to explore their interests and setting a positive example through personal endeavors. Redefining success beyond monetary terms and celebrating small achievements are key to inspiring children. These actionable steps can help you align with your inner genius and navigate your journey as a mom and entrepreneur more effectively.
Thank you for joining us in today's episode of the Mama Genius Hub podcast. If you found value in our conversation, please share this episode with another mama who might benefit. Sharing helps us build a supportive community and reach out to more mamas like you. After all, it's more fun when we do motherhood together. Until next time, stay motivated and continue to pursue your dreams as you shine in your genius.